Good afternoon to all of you. I think we can start, and we have also got the kind of message from Honorable Minister's office that Honorable Minister will be joining us with us very shortly. So welcome to all of you to the second Bay of Bengal Economic Dialogue 2022. And on behalf of SANEM, I'm Dr. Salim Rahan. I'm welcoming you all to this dialogue. And the theme of this dialogue is building resilient BIMSTEC, and which will be held on 11 and 12 March 2022. That means today and tomorrow. So in the backdrop of several global economic crises, and we know that we are going through the COVID-19 pandemic, there is a war outbreak in Europe, rising food prices, rising oil price, and several other challenges. This dialogue aims to emphasize on the importance of regional economic integration and collaboration among the countries in the Bay of Bengal region, and especially the BIMSTEC countries. We believe that joint efforts to mitigate the challenges posed by this kind of crisis, what I have mentioned earlier, through expanding markets for goods and services, sharing natural resources, and enhancing the pathways for trade and investment can prove to be mutually beneficial for countries in the BIMSTEC. To initiate such a collaboration that can strengthen economic and social ties within the Bay of Bengal region, SANEM, in collaboration with some leading think tanks and research organizations in the Bay of Bengal region, launched the Bay of Bengal Economic Dialogue 2021, and we had the first episode in 2021, February 2021. And in our efforts to start this timely and continue this timely discussion, we have partnered with the organizations like ASEAN India Center, AIC of RIS India, South Asia Watch on Trade, Economics and Environment, SAUTI from Nepal, Institute of Asian Studies of Chulalongkorn University, Thailand, Pathfinder Foundation from Sri Lanka, and Center for Research on Bhutanese Society, CRBS from Bhutan. We are extremely delighted to have His Excellency Mr. Shahriar Alam MP, State Minister of Foreign Affairs, Government of People's Republic of Bangladesh, as the chief guest of this inaugural session. We are equally delighted to have special remarks from His Excellency Mr. Tenzin Lekfel, Secretary General of BIMSTEC, due to his extreme, this heavy engagement, because the BIMSTEC summit is going to be held later this month. So he would not be able to join us in person, but he actually sent us a video message, and he sent us his best regards to the Honorable Minister and all the distinguished participants here. So we'll play his video message in this inaugural session. The other dignitaries in this session are Mr. Ghansham Bhandari, Joint Secretary and Head, Regional Organization Division, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Government of Nepal, Ambassador Sumit Nakandala, Senior Director, Bandan Nayak Center for International Studies, and he was the first Secretary General of BIMSTEC, and Mrs. Chulamani Chatswan, Deputy Permanent Secretary, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Thailand. So we'll start the inaugural session with the remarks by the dignitaries, and then at the end, we'll hear from the video message of the special guest, the Secretary General of BIMSTEC, and of course, we'll hear from His Excellency the State Minister, the chief guest of this inaugural session. So before I hand over the microphone to our dignitaries, the participants here, I would like to just show you the outcome document which we created out of the first dialogue held in February last year. And we want to produce the similar kind of outcome report out of this exercise or out of this conference, which is being held today and tomorrow. So this outcome report on this Bay of Bengal Economic Dialogue 2021, and we were extremely delighted that at that time, Honorable Foreign Minister, he was also with us, and also Professor Rehman Savan, he gave the keynote speech. And also there were several sessions in this dialogue, and which actually covered on trade and different areas of cooperation. And in this dialogue also, we are trying to, through several sessions, we are trying to cover many aspects of regional cooperation, which have become very important, in this time. So I'll just this report is available on the web, and I'm definitely thankful to all our partner think tanks who have contributed quite a lot to produce this dialogue report, and also the dialogue report which should come out from this dialogue, and would to convey the main messages out of the discussions from various sessions to the summit, which is going to be held towards the end of this month. So with this, may I invite Ambassador Sumit Nakandala, who is the Senior Director, Bandhan Naik Center for International Studies, and the first Secretary General of BIMSTEC, to deliver his speech. Over to you, Ambassador Nakandala.
Thank you, Salim. Thank you very much. Good evening to everybody. His Excellency Alam, a very great and good friend of BIMSTEC. I had the privilege and pleasure to work with him during the first tenure of Secretary General. And Mr. Bandari and my good friend Chulamani, Ambassador Chulamani was the Thai ambassador to Sri Lanka few years ago. Friends of BIMSTEC and Excellencies and ladies and gentlemen, it is a great privilege and pleasure to join the second BIMSTEC, Bay of Bengal Economic Dialogue this year. In fact, as Dr. Salim said, that we started this dialogue in 2021, and we have produced a very important report as outcome document of the economic dialogue. As Dr. Salim very correctly said, that the paradigms have shifted from 2001 to 2021 to 2022, and the crisis in Europe and elsewhere, including that of Sri Lanka, requires a great deal of rethinking about the regional cooperation and regional economic integration in this part of the world, that is our part of the world. In fact, I have been telling many friends of BIMSTEC who loves the regional integration. The regional integration in the Bay of Bengal is not a new phenomena. We need to understand that from 1300 to 1500 AD, the entire South and Southeast Asia region was integrated trade-wise. People migrated without any boundary control or border control. So integration in that sense and every sense was not a new phenomena for the region where we share, that is the Bay of Bengal. It had between 1300 to 1500, that's precisely just before the arrival and advent of the colonial powers to the region, Indian Ocean. We had the Bay of Bengal network, Malacca Strait network, Java Sea network, South China Sea network, and Eastern Indonesia network. Now, this presence of these different kind of interdependent trade networks were very vividly explained by Professor Kenneth Hall in 2010 in his article. So we need to learn this important message from the history, I think. So this is where we belong now. How do we then revisit that glorious historical past in the present globalized context? Everybody knows who have been working with regional integration and regional economic integration, basically. This is the most important social justice project for the people. We have seen elsewhere the benefits of regional integration. regional cooperation. And in fact, we have seen during the last 2 years, during the COVID-19 pandemic, the regional cooperation, how the benefits of regional cooperation reach to member states of different organizations. So therefore, as we step into the 25th year of the BIMSTEC Foundation this year, and as well as Sri Lanka is ready to host the BIMSTEC, 5th BIMSTEC Summit, it is really important what we are going to demand or what we are going to have as our roadmap. I think since the establishment of the BIMSTEC Secretariat in 2014, BIMSTEC as a regional organization has come a long way. There is a qualitative and quantitative change in the organization. Number one is the establishment of the BIMSTEC Secretariat in Dhaka, Bangladesh. I would like to record my deep sense of gratitude to the government of Bangladesh and its leadership for facilitating the functioning of the Secretariat. From 3 directors, now we have all the directors from all the 7 member states. So the Secretariat is fully functional. And this year, during the summit, BIMSTEC Charter will be adopted, among other important instruments. One of the important instruments is the finalization of the BIMSTEC connectivity master plan, which is extremely important because connectivity is sine qua non for the greater integration. Unfortunately, there are certain drawbacks. I'm sure the Honorable Minister and the other dignitaries will certainly touch upon these matters, especially our inability to conclude the BIMSTEC Free Trade Area Agreement is something that we need to ponder over seriously as we step into the 25 years of the establishment of our regional organization. Now, if the pertinent question that we need to ask, if the BIMSTEC FTA is not possible, what else is possible? Now, the connectivity is very important. And if the trade integration is not possible for some reason, then what we need to do? Then we need to look into the possibilities of greater trade facilitation, then connectivity and the coastal shipping, then people-to-people contact and regional partnership for other areas, especially since the BRICS BIMSTEC outreach summit held in Goa in 2016. I think the organization received the additional impetus due to the leadership given by Indian Prime Minister Honorable Narendra Modi. There is a greater regional cooperation in terms of security because BIMSTEC has a National Security Advisors Forum, which has met, I think, 3 times. The maritime cooperation is very much visible. And finally, the connectivity cooperation. So with these advancements and with the hosting of the 5th BIMSTEC Summit in Colombo, latter part of this month, I think we can and we should look forward for greater economic cooperation and integration. I submit that for the audience to consider this seriously because economic cooperation and integration in the Bay of Bengal is not a new phenomena. What we are trying to do is to rediscover our common heritage in a different context. The context is the globalization, greater interdependence, and competition among the nation states. Now, these things were not that visible during the period that I was referring that is 1,300 to 1,500 AD. That was not possible. That was not visible. But there had been a greater momentum of people-to-people contact, the migration across the Bay of Bengal, cultural linkages across the Bengal, civilizational bridges across the Bay of Bengal. It was a wonderful water body called the Bay of Bengal and Eastern Indian Ocean, which was at one point of time at the center of the world economy, as Sunil Amrit very aptly said and stated in his famous book. So therefore, I think 25 years is right time in order for us to take the integration and cooperation processes in the Bay of Bengal to the next logical height. Now, what is required, as we have discussed many times, the political commitment at every level in order to succeed in this exercise. Because I personally believe not only that I have a semantic feeling towards the Bay of Bengal, but I think it is a very important social justice project. And economic integration will certainly bring the benefits to the people. And if that happens, we could see certainly a very prosperous, developed Bay of Bengal. Now, there is another important thing before I conclude my thoughts today evening. In fact, we are reaching to a level, or rather stage, which we need to seriously think about some of the other countries which are bordering the rather littoral states of Bay of Bengal. Now, that is something that we need to look into. We need to ponder over. We need a kind of a pragmatic dialogue in order to bring them into our organization. I am not sure whether membership or some method we need to bring, because historically they were part of the Bay of Bengal paradigm, the economic, social, political, and cultural paradigm called Bay of Bengal. With these words, I wish the second Bay of Bengal Economic Forum success. I'll be participating some other sessions also during these 2 days. Finally, very big appreciation to Dr. Salim Rayan and Professor Prabir Dey and their team for assembling a wide range of academics, intellectuals, politicians, those who really feel for the Bay of Bengal. That's the very important thing. The personalities who are going to speak today, they are having a feel. I know many of the people in the audience, especially Honorable Minister, State Minister, is a case in point. With these words, thank you very much for inviting me, and I wish all the best for the second Bay of Bengal Economic Dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Sumit Nakandar. I think the way you very nicely kind of summarized the context of the need for integration in this region, and especially the historical context, as well as the kind of economic and cultural and different other aspects. And the urge of these countries to integrate further, I think, and especially given the fact that there are many new challenges which have emerged at the regional level as well as at the global level. Thank you very much for sharing your insights. May I now invite Mr. Ghanshyam Bhandari, Joint Secretary and Head, Regional Organization Division, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Government of Nepal, to share his welcome remarks. Over to you, Mr. Bhandari.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Salim Rehan. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I first of all echo what Ambassador Nakandala said about your efforts to bring us all together in this event. I would be brief in my remarks. Honorable State Minister for Foreign Affairs of Bangladesh, His Excellency Secretary General of BIMSTEC, Executive Director Sanim, distinguished guests, Excellencies, Ambassador Sumit Nakandala, Madam Chulamani Chat Suman, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to participate in this inaugural session of the second Bay of Bengal Economic Dialogue. I thank Sanim and all other co-organizers for hosting this event and inviting me to speak a few words. There could have been no better time to deliberate on the theme of building resilient BIMSTEC. It is not least because our region, like any other part of the world, still continues to reel through the COVID-19 pandemic. Even if the pandemic curve seems to have flattened in some countries, its impact is sure to remain for quite some time. Inequalities keep rising, with diminishing resources for recovery, rising poverty, and mounting debt. The impact on poorer countries is becoming more acute. The World Bank predicts that the global growth will slow down until 2023. While developed countries will be flying high, developing and poorer nations may face the risk of hard landing with limited fiscal space, coupled with persistent supply chain bottlenecks and inflationary pressures. Vaccine inequality has become yet another amplifier of the challenges and vulnerabilities facing these countries. All this resonates very well with the realities and experiences of BIMSTEC member states, hence the need to respond, recover, and rebuild together and better. Dear colleagues, as a region of 1.6 billion people, combined GDP of US $2.8 trillion, BIMSTEC is a home to rich civilization, diverse cultures, and heritages. The region is rife with opportunities, promises, and potential. Having said this, however, BIMSTEC countries continue to face both traditional and emerging challenges. Poverty, hunger, unemployment, and inequality, among others, remain as the structural challenges facing the region. New vulnerabilities such as digital divide and climate crisis add further strain to the pre-existing challenges. Against this context, the fourth summit held in Kathmandu in August 2018 underlined the need to build a robust BIMSTEC with a better legal and institutional framework for the organization. It recommended the rationalization and restructuring of sectors and subsectors, mandated the negotiation of the charter and strengthening of the secretariat. Some significant progress has been made since then. As a result, the fifth summit, scheduled to be held later this month, is expected to adopt the charter, endorse the rationalization of sectors and subsectors of cooperation, and adopt some important instruments, including the Convention on Mutual Legal Assistance in Criminal Matters and Memorandum of Association on Establishment of BIMSTEC Technology Transfer Facility. The fifth summit must be an occasion to muster the political will for a reinvigorated BIMSTEC that is ready to deliver on the wide range of challenges we face, from poverty and hunger to rising inequality to climate crisis. It must be a gateway to a greener, safer, sustainable, and more resilient Bay of Bengal region. Going forward, we must ensure that BIMSTEC process rekindles hope and reignites imagination. We must aim at enhancing robust regional cooperation, uplifting lives and livelihoods, creating equal opportunities for all, and ultimately realizing the aspirations of the peoples in the region. For this, first, we need to acknowledge that the current crisis is much more than a health crisis. We must collectively build sustainable and resilient pathways to deal with the long-term economic, social, and developmental consequences of COVID-19. BIMSTEC must do its part to ensure that the region builds back better. This will require enhancement of vaccination drive and investment in health systems, social protection, and poverty reduction. Second, Our region is not on track to achieve any of the SDGs by 2030. This means that we must accelerate progress and urgently reverse the regressing trends and some goals and targets to achieve these 2030 ambitions. This will be more crucial for the countries like Nepal and Bangladesh, which are set to graduate from the LDC category in 2026. Of course, graduation is an important development milestone for any country, but it is more so for Nepal, as it will be the first and a unique case of graduation without meeting the per capita income threshold. A smooth, sustainable, irreversible graduation would warrant a structural transformation of the national economy by igniting innovation and scaling up growth. Third, connectivity is a key enabler for an effective regional process. Connectivity, both in physical and digital sphere, and through land, air, and water will be crucial. The endorsement of BIMSTEC Master Plan for Transport Connectivity in the upcoming 5th Summit will be a milestone to facilitate greater connectivity through all modes of transport and to enhance trade and investment linkages in the region. An early conclusion of agreements on trade in goods, trade in services, and other agreements related to them which are under negotiation is more critical now than ever before. Fourth, as elsewhere, climate change poses an existential threat to the people in our region. A report published by ICIMOD last year suggests that 1/3 of the glaciers in the Hindu Kush Himalayan region will melt away by the end of this century, even with temperature rise of 1.5 degrees above pre-industrial level. Climate crisis has disrupted the organic link between mountains and ocean. This has even endangered the Himalayan identity and civilization. Against this worsening scenario, BIMSTEC must prioritize climate action and build climate-resilient development pathways in line with the global ambition of net zero scenario by 2050. Finally, deeper regional integration requires meaningful collaboration and cooperation among governments, policymakers, private sectors, academicians, think tanks, civil societies, and most importantly, the peoples at the grassroots level. Only a coherent regional approach promoting cross-sectoral and multi-stakeholder synergies can build a resilient BIMSTEC in a true sense. I conclude by reiterating that the best time to enhance regional cooperation may have been years ago, but the second best time is now. We must realize this and continue to build a resilient process that is clear both in direction and destination. We must do so by taking into account the ground realities and socioeconomic needs of our region. As always, Nepal looks forward to engaging constructively in all BIMSTEC platforms. I wish this second Bay of Bengal economic dialogue a high success. I thank you all for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ghanshyam Bhandari, especially the way you highlighted some of the challenges faced by Nepal and similarly Bangladesh and other countries in the Bay of Bengal region. And the climate change issues and the LDC graduation, these are extremely important. And you also suggested some important steps which need to be undertaken at the policy level. And also you highlighted the very importance of regional cooperation. Mr. Bhandari, thank you so much for contributing to this dialogue by sharing your very valuable thoughts. Let me now invite Ambassador Chulamani Chatswan, Deputy Permanent Secretary, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Thailand, to share her welcome remarks. Over to you, Ambassador.
Yes, good afternoon, colleagues, Excellencies, distinguished guests. It is a pleasure for me to be invited to deliver this remark at this inaugural session of the second Bay of Bengal Economic Dialogue 2022. I see a number of familiar faces on the screen, and so I'm very happy to meet all of you again. I would like to express my appreciation for everyone involved to make this event possible, which provide a suitable platform for exchanging ideas and experiences, especially just before the BIMSTEC summit that is to be held by the end of this month. The topic of this event, Building Resilient BIMSTEC, reflects the reality of our time now with the COVID-19 situation, with the geopolitical change in Europe and for the conflict over there, the changing economic landscape and developmental setback that will take decades, if not more, to recover. In less than 3 weeks, our leaders will meet to reaffirm our commitment to create an enabling environment and accelerate economic and social development of the region. It is not only timely, but also necessary to intensify our effort to build resilience, safeguard the most vulnerable parts of our society, and achieve long-term sustainable and inclusive growth. Collectively, BIMSTEC countries can make the best use of our potentials and accelerate regional economic and social development. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not my intention to start with the big picture, but of course, right now, uncertainty has become a constant and inconstancy has become a certainty. For roughly 3 years now, our region has faced economic challenges due to the pandemic. The current volatility in energy and food price increases and exposes the vulnerability of our economic system and aggravates energy and food security situation throughout the region and also throughout the world. Climate change will increasingly be an impediment to growth, especially in the agricultural sector, where the majority of the workforce remains. This unpromising scenario not with us understanding. It is not without hope. The Bay of Bengal has always been an area of peace, stability, and cooperation. Throughout almost 25 years since inception, BIMSTEC constitutes a strong linkage between Southeast and South Asia and a region in its own right, and has helped us address common challenge and cherish common goals. At this juncture, I would like to commend Sri Lanka's leadership as the chair of BIMSTEC, as well as the Secretariat and all member states for the collective effort to advance our priorities, particularly towards the 5th BIMSTEC Summit. Thailand, as the next BIMSTEC chair, will work closely with our member during our 2-year tenure to drive forward BIMSTEC towards a more sustainable, inclusive, and of course, resilient region. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to share with you some thoughts on how we can promote resilience as a core element for sustainable development. First, resilience requires being well connected by land, by air, and by sea. While there are several missing transportation links, in particular road and rail, we must not forget to exploit the potential of other modes of transport to the maximum. Thailand encouraged a timely conclusion of the negotiation of the BIMSTEC Coastal Shipping Agreement and connectivities between ports around the Bay of Bengal. Second, resilience needs predictability and preparedness. We have to ensure that in time of crisis, we have a functioning modus operandi that ensure continuous flows of goods, services, and production factors. Resilient supply chain can be further enhanced through the application of digital technology and innovation. For this, we need to make utmost efforts to push forward BIMSTEC Free Trade Agreement negotiation as our common regulatory framework. Third, resilience begins at the smallest units of our society. We must build an enabling environment to empower MSMEs and groups with untapped economic potential so that they can mitigate and overcome future challenges. Thailand, as the incoming chair of BIMSTEC, and the chair of APEC in 2022, is a strong advocate of the Biocircular Green Economy Model, or BCG in short, as a post-pandemic growth strategy through the use of science, technology, and innovation, and a whole society approach for a more sustainable and greener recovery. The BCG is not entirely new concept. Actually, it energized the bioeconomy, circular economy, and green economy, which are already adopted by many countries to advance sustainability, to better coordinate our policies and investment in sustainable approach and promote economic and technical cooperation, taking into account the diverse characteristics and needs of our countries. Our partnership with private sector and all segments of the society will be key to advance our efforts on this front. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to stress that building resilient BIMSTEC must be one of the key policy objectives in the years to come. Thailand stands ready to join hands with our BIMSTEC members to achieve BIMSTEC goals for the benefit of all our peoples. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Chulamani. I think the way you rightly pointed out, especially emphasized on the fact that the BIMSTEC countries, they have made some progress in certain areas with respect to achieving certain agreements, but it needs some final touches, especially the coastal shipping agreement, the FTA, and some other areas. I think we are very much hopeful that the summit, which is going to take place later this month, will actually, bring those kind of success. At the same time, you very rightly emphasized on the need of especially looking after some of the needs of the challenges, especially in many of these Bay of Bengal countries, especially with respect to the SMEs and their integration with the trade and investment in this region, and the new set of challenges they are facing. And the resident BIMSTEC will require these SMEs to recover from this COVID crisis, as well as some of the new crises they are facing. Thank you so much, Ambassador Chulamani, for your very kind words and very thoughtful words. Let me now request our SANEM team to play the video message of His Excellency Mr. Tenzin Lekfel, Secretary General of BIMSTEC. As I mentioned earlier, that he's unable to join with us in this program because of his extremely busy schedule to make the preparation for the summit later this month. But he very kindly sent his video message to share with us, and to also he sent his regards to our Honorable Minister. So SANEM team, please play the video message.
His Mr. M.D. Shahriar Alam, Honorable State Minister for Foreign Affairs, Government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh, Dr. Salim Raihan, Executive Director, SANEM, Moderator of today's session, distinguished panelists, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is an honor for me to once again participate in the second Bay of Bengal Economic Dialogue on the theme, Building Resilient BIMSTEC. I wish to express my sincere thanks to the organizers for inviting me to this inaugural session. As we all know, COVID-19 pandemic in the last 2 years and even now is continuing to pose as a daunting threat to our daily lives and lives of the people around the world. Being resilient and being responsive to the challenges of COVID-19 has now become a necessity. Therefore, the theme chosen for today's dialogue is of great relevance, and the topics selected for the dialogue, such as connectivity, trade and investment, and people-to-people contact, are some of the most pertinent areas of BIMSTEC cooperation. Distinguished panelists, since the last 2 years, the unprecedented scale and magnitude of COVID-19 pandemic has been wreaking havoc on physical, mental, and socio-economic lives of our people in the region. In responding to this pandemic, the governments of BIMSTEC member states have taken extensive measures and supported each other, including sharing of vaccines. The 17th BIMSTEC ministerial meeting, held in April last year, resolved to mobilize all relevant sectors and subsectors of BIMSTEC cooperation to strengthen economic and physical connectivity. The ministers also stressed the need to step up efforts to enhance intra-regional trade and investment to boost economic recovery in the aftermath of COVID-19, and called upon the member states to particularly prioritize and accelerate the work on the agreement on trade in goods. The experience of COVID-19 pandemic also compelled all of us to shift towards digital technology and digital economy. And in this aspect, BIMSTEC expedited the processes to establish BIMSTEC Technology Transfer Facility. And today, we are happy that the Memorandum of Association of BIMSTEC Technology Transfer Facility is now ready and will be signed at the upcoming 5th BIMSTEC Summit. Public health in the region has now been seen as a prime sector of BIMSTEC cooperation, especially after the COVID-19 pandemic. Efforts are being renewed to strengthen public health system in the region. The member states, led by Sri Lanka, have begun forming institutions such as BIMSTEC Health Expert Group, who will also coordinate and develop health action plans for the BIMSTEC region. Agriculture and food security are also further emphasized in the post-COVID-19 cooperation. BIMSTEC Secretariat will be very soon signing MOU with International Food Policy and Research Institute to support BIMSTEC agriculture cooperation. Tourism and hospitality industry, as we all know, is the hardest hit sector by COVID-19 pandemic. In this regard, we hope that the BIMSTEC 2030 tourism strategy, which is about to be completed, will help the BIMSTEC member states and its tour operators to boost tourism in the region. In short, these are some of the activities undertaken under BIMSTEC framework in responding to COVID-19 pandemic. However, we all know that this is not enough and there are a lot more things that we need to do. Distinguished panelists, ladies and gentlemen, the economic dimension of cooperation has been one of the core areas of BIMSTEC since its establishment. The success of other regional organizations, such as European Union and ASEAN, are often measured by the role they have played in promoting intra-regional trade and investment. However, our trade in the BIMSTEC region, despite having 1.6 billion people and a combined GDP of about $3 trillion, our intra-regional trade still remains at a small 7%. Therefore, we need to create economic activities and enhance intra-regional trade and investment. BIMSTEC, although has signed a free trade area framework agreement, it is still under negotiation in finalizing its constituent agreements. The BIMSTEC member states, despite being slow, is however determined to conclude the BIMSTEC free trade area, as this will comprise the first crucial step towards economic integration of the region. Likewise, connectivity is an essential tool to promote regional integration and thus unlock the potential of socio-economic development in the region. In this regard, the BIMSTEC Master Plan for Transport Connectivity, which will be adopted at the upcoming summit, would be a vital step to move ahead. With this, I would like to conclude by once more thanking the organizers for giving me this platform, and I would also like to extend my appreciation for hosting this web conference and bringing together renowned scholars and think tank members of this region. Thank you.
We must be thankful to Honorable His Excellency Mr. Tenzin Lekfel, Secretary General of BIMSTEC, for sharing his views and very kindly sending his message to and also conveying his best regards for the success of this dialogue. And thank you so much, His Excellency Mr. Tenzin Lekfel. So let me now, and this is the we are towards the end of our inaugural session, and let me now invite our chief guest of the inaugural session, Mr. Mohammad Shahriar Alam MP, State Minister of Foreign Affairs, Government of People's Republic of Bangladesh. And over to you, Honorable Minister. We are very much waiting to hear from you. Your views.
Thank you, Professor Selim Raihan, Executive Director of SANEM, distinguished representative from the member countries, ex-Secretary General of BIMSTEC, Ambassador Sumit Nakhandala, the Secretary General of BIMSTEC, distinguished discussants, participants, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon from Dhaka. I'm very happy to attend this second Bay of Bengal Economic Forum 2022, organized by the South Asian Network on Economic Modeling in collaboration with some very distinguished research organizations. The choice of the theme, building a resilient Bay of Bengal region, is a very appropriate one, as all the other speakers mentioned, driven by the internet and globalization. We are living in a very complex and interconnected world. The Bay of Bengal is not isolated from the rest of the world, as we have been passing this through a very time of deeply engaged in our efforts to overcome the post-COVID-19 challenges. Our worries to overcome the we are now our worries are multiple by an emerging global political crisis in the West, as all of we are well aware. And it's likely to linger on and bring in new challenges and threats to our ongoing development efforts. There are new opportunities, though. We now need more than ever before to expedite our collective efforts in overcoming the multiple challenges and rebuild a sustainable and resilient Bay of Bengal region. The impact of these challenges are required to be sensed, assessed, specified, quantified, understood, and acted upon to frame our collective strategy by program of action. At this backdrop, I find the second dialogue of Bay of Bengal Economic Forum among experts and researchers very relevant. I'm sure the outcomes will be very rewarding. It is my firm conviction that this dialogue among the government, policymakers, think tanks, member of the academia, researchers, stakeholders, through sharing their intelligence, insights, and broader research guidelines will provide an opportunity for triggering meaningful and stronger cooperation among the countries in the Bay of Bengal region. The littoral countries of the Bay of Bengal, comprising the countries in South Asia and South Asia, constitute a very vibrant region with huge untapped potential for forging partnership in multiple sectors to achieve mutual gains through regional cooperation. Bangladesh is a member of various regional and sub-regional forum. Just to name a few, which of course we are well aware of SARC, BBIN, ACD, SICA, and BIMSTEC being one of the recent one, or rather relatively recent one, even though I'll come and give you some updates as well later on. We just concluded an MOU on connectivity cooperation under BBIN. We are also pursuing dialogue partnership with ASEAN. Many littoral countries of Bay of Bengal region are common members of all these organizations that I named. Among these forum, BIMSTEC, the subject today, is the most relevant that connects 7 Bay of Bengal littoral countries from South Asia and Southeast Asia. It is so important because this is still one of the poorest region of the world where poverty is high. And I was attending our regional advisory committee meeting of the World Economic Forum last night. We know that this is also the most climatically vulnerable region of the world. And this is the region, despite all these challenges, is growing at a faster pace than rest of the world. So that makes, a very interesting, and I'm sure the rest of the world is also finding it interesting. I don't think I need to highlight that separately. All of you engaged in this affair is well aware of all those developments. Ladies and gentlemen, Bangladesh is one of the 4 founding members of BIMSTEC, established by 4 countries with limited mandates as the then BIMSTEC Economic Corridor Forum on way back 6th June 1997 through Bangkok Declaration. And today there are 7 member states of BIMSTEC. Is a full-scale regional organization, and Bangladesh is a proud host of the permanent secretariat of BIMSTEC since 2014. BIMSTEC today has just to share a little bit of personal memory or touch that after I took oath into this office in 2014, my first job was actually to sign that extra document that you as a host do, and that was in Naypyidaw in the summit. So of course, as Sumit Nakandala mentioned, that from day one, I had the privilege to engage with the affairs of BIMSTEC. Day one means of the secretariat physically in Dhaka. BIMSTEC today has a wider range of areas and cooperation, starting from trade, investment, connectivity, and energy cooperation to cultural cooperation within the framework of regional cooperation. The very idea of regional cooperation in South Asia derived from father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, back in 1972. SARC emerged in 1985 as a legacy of the dream of our father of the nation for regional cooperation. His able daughter, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, extended the spirit of regional cooperation of Bangladesh with South Asia to Southeast Asia by joining Bangladesh with BIMSTEC, which have 2 members from Southeast Asian region as well. Bangladesh government, under the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, is fully committed to strengthen BIMSTEC cooperation by all possible means. Regional cooperation is one of the foreign policy priorities of our government. The BIMSTEC Forum is stepping into the 25th year of existence this year, at a time when Bangladesh is celebrating the Golden Jubilee of our independence and birth centenary of the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Bangladesh BIMSTEC leaders are also scheduled to join the 5th summit on the 30th of this month, which is just a couple of weeks away in Colombo. It will be an opportunity, surely, to review and reflect what had worked and what didn't work. It will be an opportunity to refresh and renew their commitment to strengthen the BIMSTEC process in all respects, both in structure and strategy, to turn this regional forum into a much stronger platform for partnership in the assigned sectors of cooperation through formulating and implementing suitable projects, programs, and activities by sharing all member states' resources and best practices, and in creating synergy for the collective benefits and mutual progress and prosperity of the peoples of this region. At the impending 5th BIMSTEC Summit, a substantive number of issues are expected to be high on the agenda of our leaders for their consideration and adoption. BIMSTEC is expecting to get a charter after 25 years of its establishment. It's a little late, but it's a milestone. I think it's a good achievement to highlight. We are also expecting at least 4 legal instruments to be concluded during the summit. With conclusion of these 4 legal instruments, the number of essential legal documents will be raised to 13 from 9 today. These documents are fundamental software for cooperation or the operation and functioning of BIMSTEC, which has been moving at a slow pace since the inception of in 1997. Lack of required numbers of legal and physical infrastructure were, among others, one of the striking impediment towards the steady progress of in coordination and facilitation of activities in BIMSTEC. Establishment of the Secretariat and appointment of a Secretary General in 2014 was an important milestone in the journey of BIMSTEC process, which came into being almost 18 years after BIMSTEC process started. So establishment of Secretariat was truly important. And things started moving faster since 2014. Thanks to all the, Sumit Nakandala and his successors, and of course the current Secretary General as well. Conclusion of these documents will push BIMSTEC one step further. Though the COVID-19 slowed down the momentum, the 5th BIMSTEC Summit being held after 4 years since 4th BIMSTEC Summit in 2018 is also likely to adopt the long-expected BIMSTEC transport connectivity master plan, which will put new impetus in implementation of multimodal connectivity projects connecting the member states towards regional integration in the Bay of Bengal region. Another fundamental area of cooperation and much needed element of regional integration is the implementation of BIMSTEC free trade area. Though the framework agreement on the FTA was signed in 2004, much remained to be done to implement the FTA due to lack of progress in finalization and conclusion of 6 constituent legal instruments. Despite COVID-19 impediments, I'm happy to share with you some good news. I was told that 2 important documents, like the constituent agreement on trade in goods and the text on BIMSTEC rules of origin, are almost at the final stage. These 2 documents are fundamental to start operation of FTA, and once concluded, tariff-free of trade in goods can start among the member states, which will be absolutely brilliant and much awaited one. Bangladesh, as the lead country for trade and investment sector under BIMSTEC, is seized with early conclusion of other required agreements and MOU under FTA, like customs cooperation agreement, agreement on trade in service, agreement on trade facilitation, protocol on amendment of FTA, and so on. And we need wholehearted support from all member states and of course, coordination from the Secretariat. Bangladesh, on its part, is fully committed to do everything necessary to implement the FTA at a full swing sooner than later. This is an area where the experts and researchers can advise the policymakers on tangible and intangible barriers to fast progress and suggest us possible solution. Distinguished guests, to make a resilient Bay of Bengal, resilient Bay of Bengal region, as desired, all sectors of BIMSTEC process are required to be fully functional and operational to produce optimum results and sustainable benefits for our peoples in the Bay of Bengal region. We need to bolster engagement in the areas of energy cooperation, agriculture cooperation, and disaster management under BIMSTEC, and bring synergy among them and to facilitate trade, investment, and connectivity cooperation and vice versa. While our leaders are committed towards their directions through their political will and directives, we need to build partnership among all stakeholders to move their visions forward. And many of you are present here today at this inauguration and will be contributing in the special sessions to follow over the next 2 days. Dear organizers, participants, ladies and gentlemen, I take this opportunity to reiterate my optimism that this dialogue will facilitate the littoral countries on the Bay of Bengal region in their collective endeavor in building bridges by connecting the dots under the framework of regional cooperation, especially through BIMSTEC Forum in strengthening and consolidating the synergy in all relevant sectors. I expect this dialogue to bring out a suitable guiding software of cooperation through sharing their findings in the form of publications gained from the research and development efforts. And I wish this 2-day-long second Bay of Bengal Economic Forum a grand success. And thank you very much for your patience hearing. And I wish all of you well. And I'm sure my colleagues and the Secretariat will follow and take note of some of the ideas that will be tabled in following sessions. And we will try and incorporate those in our discussion and policy making. Thank you all. Jai Bangla, Jai Bengal.
Thank you so much, Honorable State Minister, Mr. Mohammad Shahriar Alam MP. The way you express the kind of political commitment of Bangladesh government, and also you shared your optimism for the regional cooperation in this region, especially given the changing global scenarios and at the same time the new set of challenges these countries are facing. And also you highlighted the importance of concluding some of the pending negotiations, which are already there in the BIMSTEC. So I think, thank you so much. I think this kind of optimism would really guide us, the researchers or think tanks or different other stakeholders in this region, to work more on this, on the areas of cooperation, at the same time to support you, to provide the kind of support the policymakers need from our side, from the points of view academicians and as well as other stakeholders. I think this is something is very, very encouraging. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister, for your very kind words. Very distinguished participants, we are going to end our inaugural session. I know that there are many participants who have joined this inaugural session, and some of them, there are some very dignitaries too. We will take this discussion in the next session, and we will, and also on some of the other sessions today and tomorrow. In this inaugural session, we are not really having any Q&As, but I'm quite sure that many of you would like to share your views or pose questions in this in some of the sessions which are going to happen next. We are going to have the next session on the keynote session, which is going to happen in 15 minutes from now. So with this, I'd like to again thank all the very distinguished panelists and our special guest, our chief guest here, and also the participants to participate in this inaugural session. And I'd like to conclude this inaugural session by thanking all of them, all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.